Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasa Tato Jayamudiraye Dashtaprayeshu Abhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktirabhavati Naishthiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Nalina Nitraya Venuvadya Vinodine Radha Sudapana Shaline Vanamaline Mahabhava Swarupasvam Krishna Priya Variyase Prema Bhakti Prade Devi Shri Radhika Tvam Namostute. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 8, text number 22. Yovanushainam sargaha Pashandasya cha sambhavaha Atmano bandhamokshav cha Vyavasthanamasvatupataha Yovanushainam sargaha Pashandasya cha sambhavaha Atmano bandhamokshav cha Vyavasthanasvarupataha Yah anushayinam sargaha Pashandasya sambhava atmanaha Atmano bandhamokshav cha Vyavasthanam svarupataha. Yah, all those. Va, either. Anushayana, merge into the body of the Lord. Sargaha, creation. Pashandasya, of the infidels. Sure. And Sambhavaha, appearance. Atmanaha, of the living beings. Bandha, condition. Moksha, being liberated. Sure. Also. Vyavasthanam, being situated. Swarupataha, in an unconditioned state. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Please us also explain how, merged in the body of the Lord, living beings are created, and how the infidels appear in the world. Also, please explain how the unconditioned living entities exist. Purport. The progressive devotee of the Lord must inquire from the bona fide spiritual master how living entities merged in the body of the Lord again come back at the time of creation. There are two kinds of living entities. There are the ever liberated, conditioned living beings, as well as the ever conditioned living beings. Of the ever conditioned living beings, there are two divisions. There are the faithful and infidels. Of the faithful, there are again two divisions, namely the devotees and the mental speculators. The mental speculators desire to merge into the existence of the Lord, or to become one with the Lord, whereas the devotees of the Lord desire to keep separate identities and constantly merge in the service of the Lord. The devotees who are not fully purified, as well as the empiric philosophers, become conditioned again during the next creation for further purification. Such a conditioned souls become liberated by further progress of devotional service to the Lord. Maharaj Parikshit asked all these questions from the bona fide spiritual master in order to become fully equipped in the science of God. Om Agyartimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Karamanyam Dadati Swapadantika. Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Udapadakamalam Shri Guruna Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunath Anvitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padana Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Panchakalpataruvasya Krita Sindhuke Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachadine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyapade Shadari. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaurav. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yoga Anushayina. The Anushayina means the living entities who have attended the Brahma Jyoti. Sargaha. Then how their creations take place. Pashandasya. And there are who are Pashandis, who never believes in the God. What happens to them? Sambhavaha. Atmano bandha mokshaucha. Vyavasthanam swarupataha. How one gets liberated and how one gets entangled in this material world. Please explain me about that. In a sense, Parikshit Maharaj is asking about all these three varieties of living entities. One is Nitya-Baddha, Nitya-Mukta, and one is Sadhana-Siddha. Nitya-Baddha, they are like a Pashandis, they don't believe in the God. These are the atheistic people who never believe in the soul, neither in a God, nor in the Lord's energies. And it's very difficult for them to come to the understanding of the existence of God. So what happens to them? That's the question of Parikshit. Where do they go when there is annihilation? So these are the Nitya Baddhas. Then there are Sadhana Siddhas. Amongst the Nitya Baddhas, when they come into contact with the Supreme Personality of a Godhead or his pure devotees, they do certain sadhana, certain practices. They render devotional service to the Lord. And because of which, they perfect their life. They become sadhana siddha. And there is a variety of living entities which is known as Nitya Siddha. They are always liberated. These Nitya Siddhas are sent by the Lord at different time frame to come and preach to these Nitya Baddhas and get them attracted toward their Lordship and Lord's wonderful activities. So that the sole purpose of creation, to facilitate the conditioned soul to come back to Godhead, can be fulfilled. Otherwise, as we have 2 days back there with so-called scholars, they are having their own sort of a thinking, which they call as a philosophy, which does not have any basis actually. Neither they completely know about creation, nor about the destruction, and neither about the maintenance of this whole creation. But still, they wanted to put forward something which is actually absurd to make understand. Because if you want to go into the details, they say that, no, we don't know about this. Nothing has explained about this. Then what's the use of that philosophy? Maharaj Parikshit putting forward all these inquiries, and he's proving that this Vedic literature, especially Srimad Bhagavata, which is known as a science of Godhead, is so perfect. It has an answer for all your questions. And what sort of a question that human beings should have, that you can see here. More than 25 questions has asked by Maharaj Parikshit. If we can contemplate on that verses, then we can realize where we stand in our spiritual practices. Do we really bother ourselves with such kind of inquiries anytime in the past? Because the thing which is known as a chintan or contemplation, that we never do actually. And that's what we are lacking in our own life as well as in our society also. We think that we'll just make new devotees, get new devotees. But who will cultivate? Whom you have preached few years back, where are they now? Before Prabhupada left his body, he asked his senior disciples, now there's a time to boil the milk. Acharyas, generally they speak in a good language. Only the person who really knows and follows the instruction of Acharya, that language gets revealed in their heart. What is this boiling the milk? If you want to preserve something in the liquid state, you need to boil it. If you boil the milk, it can last for another 2-3 days. If you don't, then it gets spoiled. So same way, when you cultivate someone, need to discuss philosophy with them. Genuinely, you just think about it. Whatever interaction we have with the devotee, how many times really we discuss philosophy with them? Hi Prabhu, how are you? How's your health? Had prasad? These are the inquiries made by the Shudras who are concerned about only food. These are not the qualities of Brahmana that who can ask such a question to other Brahmana. Have you your food? No. Because Brahmanas are not bothered about food, they are bothered about knowledge. What you ask other, that shows your mental frame, your development of consciousness. What do you ask that person? What are your priorities? When you meet any administrator or any Kshatriya class of people which is not existing now, it is totally extinguished. They are not there actually. If they would have been there, then this chaos has not taken place in the world. Only Vaishyas, and only the Vaishyas which are having the Shudra tendencies, and the Shudras, they are ruling the whole world. The Brahmana, when he meets, what he asked about? He asked about how's your sadhana? What you have done? Any new realization that you have? That's what they inquire, because they are more into that. As any lusty person, when he come in contact with someone, he asks about the women. So same way, what priority you have set up in your life, naturally you ask about that. So here Maharaj Parikshit is showing what should be the priority of human being. What should they inquire about? Because since the time of our birth, we are just inquiring. You see, there is just question answer session throughout the life we are having, nothing else. We are asking someone and we are getting answer. Someone is asking us, we are answering that. This is what's going on in our life. And that's why the rishis and Sutta Goswami, Shaukamnag, etc., when this is Yat Krita Samprishna, what the question that you have asked about the Supreme Personality of a Godhead is Bhavadbhir Lokamangalam. It is really auspicious for the people in general. Why? Because nobody asked about that. Even in the association of devotees, we can see how many times really we inquire about the Lord when we meet each other. That makes sense or not? We can judge our own advancement, that how many times in a day we really will discuss with others about their Lordship. That need to be understood. Actually, the whole endeavor that Parikshit Maharaj is doing at the time of death, asking all these questions, to just remind us that what we should be asking, what we should be discussing throughout our life. Need to be understood. That really makes difference. Because that will show us our own state or condition of our consciousness or status of our consciousness. Then in the further verse, he asked about Yathatma Tantro Bhagavan Vikritya Atma Mayaya Drishnya Va Yatha Mayam Udaste Sakshivat Vibhuku. The independent personality of a Godhead enjoys his pastime by his internal potency, and at the time of annihilation gives them up to the external potency, and he remains a witness to it all. So here the unique quality of their Lordship has he asked about, and that is, even though he manifests everything, he performs his wonderful activities, but at the time of annihilation, he gives the whole charge to the material nature itself and remains as a witness, becomes a third party in his own pastimes. He never gets entangled into that. That's the glory of the Lord. Even though he creates something, like generally in the living entity, he creates something, he works hard for something, definitely he gets attached to that particular activities. But Lord, he never gets attached to anything. He gives up at appropriate time. Like here, Prabhupada explains that Lord Krishna, being the Supreme Personality of a Godhead and fountain head of all other incarnation, is the only independent person. He enjoys his pastimes by creation as he desires and gives them up to the external energy at the time of annihilation. By his internal potency only, he kills the demon Putana, even though enjoying his pastime in the lap of Mother Yashoda. And when he desires to leave this world, he creates the pastime of killing his own family members, Yadukula, and remains unaffected by such an annihilation. He is the witness of everything that is happening. And yet, he has nothing to do with anything. He is independent in every respect. Maharaj Parikshit desired to know more perfectly, for a pure devotee ought to know well. As in one of the previous purport, Prabhupada has explained why all these queries are there. Just to show that devotees are not just sentimentalists, but they are knowledgeable also. They do know about this material creation in detail. Their understanding is based on the knowledge, just not on the sentiment. Because when Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in Varanasi, performing his Sankirtan pastime, one of the great sannyasi from Shankara Sampradaya, is known as Prakashananda Saraswati. He saw Mahaprabhu, he started thinking that this person has taken sannyas from our Sampradaya. Why he has become so sentimental? Why he is just walking on the road and dancing and chanting the holy name? He should sit at a place and discuss Vedanta. He should discuss philosophy, he should be sober. That was his feeling, that these devotees, they are just sentimentalists. They don't know what's the purpose of life, what they should supposed to do. But when he came and met Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu had a conversation with him, Mahaprabhu destroyed the whole Mayavadi conception from his heart and made him a devotee. He had 80,000 sannyas disciples. All they got converted into Vaishnavas. That's the glory of devotees. And Lord, he himself came as a devotee and showed him that how devotee behaves, what he should know. Mahaprabhu himself, when he was staying in Gambhira, Jagannath Puri, in the final pastimes, every day without fail used to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Whatever he has said in Srimad Bhagavatam, he is practicing that also. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. And with whom? With a person Bhagavata, Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar, he used to absorb so much in reading. Whenever he used to read, he used to cry. And the tears of ecstasy used to fall upon his manuscript of Srimad Bhagavatam. Even today you can see that copy of Srimad Bhagavatam that he used to read it from Mahaprabhu. You will see most of the letters, they are like faded away because of the tears of Gadadhar. Both they used to cry. If someone externally see that, he said, these are the sentimentalists, they are just reading and crying and crying. But these are the real symptoms of devotees. Because devotee, when he hears about the Lord, he always feels extreme pangs of separation from their Lordship. Because he is in knowledge. He knows what exactly happened. And that's why all these queries are made by Prahlad Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj. Further he says that Sarvam etasya Bhagavan Prakshato me anupurvashaha Tattvato arhasya udharatam Prapannaya Mahamuni. O great sage, representative of the Lord, kindly satisfy my inquisitiveness in all that I have inquired from you and all that I may not have inquired from you from the very beginning of my questioning. Since I am a soul surrendered unto you, please impart full knowledge in this connection. That's the mode of acquiring spiritual knowledge. You see how humbly he is asking to Shukadeva Goswami. In age, if you say, Shukadeva Goswami was too young to him. Like a 18 years boy. But he was a Jnana Vriddha, most respectable person. Why? Because the most old or elderly personalities, they were sitting in audience to hear it from the Shukadeva Goswami. They were Shinara, Vyasadeva, Asita, Devala, Girasa, Vasishtha, all these great sages from all the planetary system, they came and they sat to hear about it. And with the inquisitive heart, with the humility, Parikshit Maharaj is making all these inquiries. And Prabhupada says in his purport, the spiritual master is always prepared to impart knowledge to the disciple, and specifically when the disciple is very inquisitive. Inquisitiveness on the part of a disciple is greatly necessary for the progressive disciple. Maharaj Parikshit is a typical disciple because he is perfectly inquisitive. If one is not very inquisitive about self-realization, one need not approach a spiritual master simply to make show of discipleship. Generally, this is what happens. People they look at someone else and they think that I should get initiated. So let me go. And they go and take initiation. But they really don't understand what is meant by being a disciple. Disciple is discipline. What discipline? Set by the spiritual master for rendering the devotional service to the Lord. We want a spiritual master, but in a photo frame, not in actual life. Why? Because the person who is in the photo frame, he will not interfere in your life. He will never question you. What's going on? How's your spiritual practices? Do you really working hard for that? Or he can judge your progress in your spiritual life. People, they do not want such a person in their life. They like to have a person in the photo frame to just show the world that I am having a guru, you know. If you go to one part of India, most of the people, they said, oh, I know I have my guru. They make a guru as a fashion because everyone has, that's why I should have. But that's not the reason to approach the spiritual master. Because spiritual master is always there to impart a knowledge about the Supreme Personality of God. In Hindi, there is one proverb that says, generally, the people, what they are, according to that, they get the guru. Chalu guru, chanda chela, dono ka narak mein thelam thelam. If the spiritual master, can't say spiritual master even, because the people who claims to be or pretends to be as a spiritual personalities, the pretenders, they get disciple same like them only, who pretend. So both their destination is none other than the hell. So they need to be rejected, both such a disciples and such a spiritual master. As Prabhupada explains here, if one is not very inquisitive about the self-realization, one need not approach a spiritual master simply to make a show of discipleship. Just don't waste his time if you are not sincere and does not have any spiritual inquiries. Not only is Maharaj Parikshit inquisitive concerning all he has inquired about, but he is also anxious to know about what he has not been able to inquire. So he says, as per my intelligence and my understanding, I have asked the questions, but there may be few questions which have not arise in my heart because of my imperfections. But being a spiritual master, you know them. So please tell me about that also. That's the proper mode of gaining the spiritual knowledge. Factually, it is not possible for a man to inquire about everything from the spiritual master. But the bona fide spiritual master is able to enlighten disciple in every way for the disciples' benefit. Any question, any comment regarding this?
To be able to inquire, what should I do? Because sometimes I feel like there's more, I'm not sure what it is that we can't find.
See, for that purpose, you need to contemplate. Generally, we don't do that. We never, after hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we never sit for half an hour and really think about that, what we have discussed. Do we do that? We forget. If we set our priorities, that this is what first, and then rest of the things are secondary, then Lord helps you to remember that also. Like, as you say that you have very short memory. You can remember for a long time. But few things you do, you remember them very well. Like a Monday as you have to go home. Do you? Why? Because you have set it as a priority for a Monday. Set that thing as a priority to do on Monday. That's why you don't forget that. So we need to set our priority. We make it as a priority, and that's the thing that I should know about. If you make sure that, then automatically Lord helps you for that to remember. Generally, we don't have that intense desire. That's why we don't remember. If you have desire, if you have that attachment, then automatically, if it is prioritized in your life that, oh, this is must for me, not shall, should, or would, it is must, then you will do that. Need to work on it. Work on that. Why Parikshit Maharaj is discussing all these things? 20 days of life. Because he is showing us an example that in this world, when you are here as a conditioned living entity, you should make these are the priorities of your life. You should work on this. Your Lord said, Matta smritir jnana apohanam cha. From me, this remembrance and forgetfulness comes. So if you pray Him that I wanted to do it for your pleasure, as your service, so help me out for that. Do we pray? We give excuse, oh, I forgot. Why? Because I never prioritized that thing. I never gave a first preference to that thing, so that's how I forgot. Making some sense?
It makes sense. Ironically, one of the reasons I want to be home is because I want to be quiet so that I won't be interrupted. I'm kind of meditating.
Meditating on what? That also we forget.
What should I be asking?
Like one day, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he entered his temple and he saw one brahmachari sitting on the chair and he was just looking in the sky and thinking about something, and he saw his spiritual master had gone in front of him. He never got up, he never offered him pranam, nothing, and he was sitting, and Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur just went up to his room. And then he sent one brahmachari, go and call that person. Because that's not a good example that he's sitting, that his own spiritual master is walking in front of him and he is not showing any concern about that. Then that actually was a sannyasi, the other. He came to his senses and he ran. He begged for forgiveness. I'm sorry, actually. I never noticed that you were passed by there. So what are you thinking about? But where you were so much absorbed? He said, Guru Maharaj, actually yesterday you spoke about this particular thing. Then he quoted that verse. And I was thinking that I read this verse here, it gives this reference. I read this verse here, it has given this reference. And what you spoke about, it is, I'm not getting it, how it is connected. And I was just contemplating on that. He said, when did I spoke that? He said, yesterday morning when we had a conversation, that time I heard it, you were discussing with someone. But this is what Maharaj was got so much impressed with him. He used to have a big library with him. Only he used to have access for that. Nobody else used to go. So from that day, Bhakti Saraswati Thakur asked him, now you can read. You can enter in my library and read this book. Because you have that much capacity. And that person was so, had such a sharp intelligence when when he gave his own commentary on Chaitanya Charitamrita, he was sitting next to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and whenever Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to quote some shloka, he used to give immediately reference. And the other person used to write it down. So he used to read the main text in Bengali. After reading that text, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to give translation for that. After that translation, he used to give his commentary. And while giving a commentary, whenever he used to quote any words, immediately that person used to give the reference. Okay, this was from Srimad Bhagavatam, this. The other person used to note it down. Because he was always contemplating the words of his spiritual master. When you read it, when you hear it, the next thing is boiling it. We don't do that. We just flush it away with other thoughts. Why Prabhupada has kept this Bhagavatam class in the morning? So that the whole day we can just contemplate what we have heard today. In the Vedic era, if someone used to chant 3 times the verse, he used to get by heart, kanthastha. Nowadays we do it almost like a 6th time, including mine is like a 9 times. But still we don't remember a single word from that verse. Why? Because mind is not there. It's somewhere else. Oh, I don't know how long he will go. He always late for class. He start late. He finish late. That things are there in our mind. Rather than the essence, what is going to get discussed, our mind gets preoccupied with all these things because it's conditioning, which we are carrying for lifetimes. It's not just today or yesterday's or maybe for a week, but the lifetimes that our mind is carrying. And mind is always torturing us when we practice any sort of a devotional practice. The age of a Kali is known as the Sarva Sadhana Badakaha. Any spiritual practices you take, it creates obstacles in that. And the agent of Kali is none other than our own mind. No one else. Sometimes we blame others. Whenever he comes, I don't know what happens. My mind gets disturbed. It's not that person, it's you, it's your mind. Why you have to blame that person? We do all these things because we don't contemplate. Don't contemplate. We do not contemplate. And Prabhupada said that the Krishna consciousness is inward, not outward. What you show to the world is not a Krishna consciousness, what you are practicing. What is there inside, which is seen by the Lordship. No one else can visualize what's going on in your heart. Only he can see, and he knows. You may cheat the world, you may pretend, and that's why Bhagavad Gita Lord says that he never likes pretenders. He kicks them out. As the Mother Earth never tolerate the weight of sinful personalities like us. And among the sinfuls, who is more sinful? The liar, who lies. Mother Earth never bear that burden of person. And Krishna says the pretender never makes progress in spiritual life. So why to pretend? Be at it as it is. And Lord likes that. Because he knows your heart. The thought before it come into execution, Lord knows that this guy has this problem within his heart and he's pretending. One time when devotee asked once, he said, Maharaj, whenever we go to temple, we see that Lord is always smiling. When you come to temple, Radha Madhavari is always giving a smile. He said, yes, he's smiling. Because he's seeing the monkey is coming in front of him and dancing. So who is that? It's you. Something inside, showing outside something, thinking something else. He knows, hey, see, one more pretender has come. Now look at him, what he will do. That happens sometimes. When we see someone is coming, we know in reality what he is and what he is showing. So when we see at him, we get, say now there is a fun. So it's like a fun for the Lord when he looks at us. He speaks so much, but what's there in his heart, I know very well. And that's why he's always smiling. We go in front of him, stand and pray. There's something inside going on and something like sometimes we do only lip service. So it's very essential part of our own spiritual progress is to contemplate. Then only you will come to know that where you have reached. Otherwise, how do we know? Because every time you don't have a spiritual master sitting next to you. And we are not that much advanced that we are carrying our spiritual master always in our heart. So we are in precarious condition. Once a while or once maybe at least you are lucky, your Guru Maharaj is here, you can see within 3 months or you can have his audience, personal meetings, Vapu Sangha. But few people they meet like after 10 years, 12 years, 5 years, 6 years, 6 years, 5 years. Then how you can get enlightened yourself? We are, every day we seeing that. Prema Bhakti jahan hote, avidya vinashayate. Sometimes again it will take for us. Guru Mukha Padma Bhakti Kori. How many times really we contemplate on our Guru Maharaj's teachings? Do we? It needs to be. It needs to be understood. Otherwise, as Prabhupada says here, just he comes in front of his spiritual master for showing his discipleship. If one is not very inquisitive about self-realization, one need not approach a spiritual master simply to make a show of discipleship. Oh, I'm his disciple, so he has come, how to go. How to go means what? You don't want to go, but you have to go. Someone told me that how is used when you are reluctant to perform some activity. Then you say, how to do it. Yeah? Grammatically, when you have to use have. Means heart is not there, but you have, okay, I have to do it like that. Huh?
Must be.
I must go. Must means for me and I have to do it. So, factually, it is not possible for a man to inquire about everything from the spiritual master. But the bona fide spiritual master is able to enlighten the disciple in every way for the disciple's benefit.
Sometimes we didn't get wisdom from the
That's bogus philosophy.
possible.
बोलते हैं लेकिन show me how many has become Vaishnavas by pretending. They are higher than the Lord. Lord says that he never likes pretenders. And you want to pretend, how you will become? How many has become, you tell me, in your life, whatever live, maybe 38 years of your life. How many people you have seen changed by pretending? Not a single one you have seen in 38 years. 40 or 42 years of life. That by just pretending someone has become a devotee. The thing which Lord himself says he never lies, if you do that and you are going to get becoming a dear to Lord. What do you think? I don't know who has come up with that. You just pretend and one day you will be like that.
But they are saying that I'm not saying.
No, but see, there should be some logic behind that. Huh? Just considering yourself servant, I'm your servant, I'm servant, but just doing a lip service, you are not going to change. It need to have that realization of the importance, what he is speaking about. Then only there is a change. And pretenders, they don't have a realization of that thing. The word pretender itself shows that he is pretending. He's showing what not he is. But Lord is happy with that. You show yourself what you are. Submit it in that manner. Lord likes that. The best way, rather than pretending, offer prayers offered by the Lord's devotees. Even though, because we don't have that much qualification or neither the understanding to glorify or to put forward our own. So why Parikshit Maharaj is asking this question? Because we does not have that brain. And I can't pretend like a Parikshit Maharaj and ask this question unless and until I have that realization in my heart. And Prabhupada said the best way to progress in spiritual life, repeat the prayers offered by the pure devotees. Tend to be a pure devotee. Has he? If that would have the process, you would have read it in Prabhupada books. I never remember anywhere that Prabhupada says that you should pretend and you will become. I don't know who comes up with all these absurd ideas. It's not there in any of our Vaishnava Siddhanta. Vaishnav, Saral means who is as it is. What is like that. That is Saral. No complexion, no duplicity. If there is a duplicity, he is not a Vaishnava at all. Then they give, oh, he is trying to be, then he should behave that. He should not claim himself. We need to understand. Otherwise, like a neophyte stage will go on, it will go on for the lifetimes. Unless and until we sit, discuss, contemplate about it. Sorry, it's too long. Yeah.
I feel that during meditation, if you just focus, you have to get yourself to the level that it comes to one word, and the meditation will lead you to that word. Very often, that word is just love, and you'll just over and over again until all of a sudden you're filled with it and you're raised with it. Because during the meditation, God is going to raise you And then to answer your question, actually going to put the question in your mind that you need to ask your guru, or he's going to answer the question for you before you even ask your guru. So just sit there and meditate until you make the connection, and you're raised. You're raised and raised and raised and raised and raised.
That's proper understanding. Because Lord, being the Chaitya Guru in your heart, He guides you.
Right. He talks to you.
Yeah.
So
For that, what it needed? Your sincerity, not a pretendance. Your sincere desire.
yeah, so just focus on a word like love, or focus on a word like thank you. Just keep on repeating that, repeating that, repeating that, and you'll feel the change. You'll actually feel the rise in the consciousness. And once you get to a certain level, you're connected, and then he just talks to you. And anyway, you're 70 years old. You just had your birthday. You don't have to worry about any of this. Just be happy.
Srila Prabhupada ki